So, a few weeks ago, I was scrolling on Reddit to find black pill communities because that's usually where they are for research purposes to get more ideas for videos and also more knowledge about the subject. And I stumbled upon a subreddit called Short Guys. Yeah. So, you can probably tell what it's about. It's about short guys, venting, coping with how being short is the reason why they're depressed and so on. It's a black belt community. And I was having a time. I was like, yeah, I hit the gold mine on this one. I'm gonna get thousands of ideas and stuff. And barely 5 minutes went by, and already I was starting to feel shorter for no reason. And obviously, my height was not changing as I was watching the video and the posts and stuff that was on there. But I started feeling like them more and more and more. I started to adapt myself into that environment. And that gave me the idea for this video. It was not finding anything about short guys to talk about in my videos. It was the fact that you can see my Nintendo. That's not meant to be shown. I can promise you I haven't used that in months. It was the fact that I started to adapt myself into that community. I felt shorter because I read about guys that felt short, that was venting about being short. I felt shorter for no reason. And that brings me to what I'm going to talk about today. It's that you adapt into the environment you spend your most time on. I remember the more I'd sit with and it was so bad that when I was scrolling in Reddit, when I was scrolling on Reddit and I watched these posts, it was not only the community about short guys, it was a lot of different communities just talking about the black pill and why they believed it and so on. I legit had to turn off the computer like 30 minutes in, just scrolling on different Reddit posts, because I was starting to lose my way. You can call me fragile minded or whatever. Like, I easily get turned into whatever I watch. Yeah, I guess. But it didn't even take 30 minutes for me to start to lose my ideologies. And that's why it's important to know that the environment you spend time on is gonna help you adapt into it. You're gonna become where you spend the most time on. I was just thinking, I spent 5 minutes on that post, on that subreddit. Imagine how the guys that are actually actively on that community online there, how deep they're into that ideology of I'm short, it's over. Imagine how short they feel. The environment can be, friends. The environment can be substance. The environment can be sunny or gray or whatever. Just an environment where you spend your most time on. I could have swore I turned the camera. Wait. That's weird. Alright. I'm still learning about my tripod thing that I'm using, so. Um, but yeah, spending time in an environment plays a big role in how we are as people, as humans. Matter of fact, it plays such a big role that it physically changes us depending on where we live, as we grow, of course, but also mentally. If you if you spend your time on subreddits talking about how short you are and how tall you have to be to not be considered short, etc. It don't matter if you're 6'8" or whatever. You're gonna feel shorter eventually. Eventually you're gonna be like, maybe I'm not that tall. Maybe I'm not that fortunate, you know. Maybe I can't dunk as high as I thought I could, you know. And no physical attribute really changed in you. But you spent a little bit too much time on that subreddit, and now, well, I don't want to say you're done for, but you're on the spectrum. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I see. The camera changes on itself. Okay, let me. Hold up. There we go. You know, spending time in the sun is good. You get all that vitamin D. You also feel happier, you know. Um, but also spending time with a bunch of crackheads is eventually gonna turn you into somebody who's tried drugs for the first time, even though your parents told you not to do it, you know. Um, and that's how important environment is. You have to know that you can't outrun the adaptation your mental and physical will do to the environment you are in. And when you're in black pill communities, you will become more adapted to the black pill. No matter if you still choose to believe like no, I'm not a black pillar. That's the dangerous job that I'm doing, you know, when I search for new video ideas on Reddit, because that's where all the incels are usually. That's I'm I'm worried that it's gonna make me adapt into that ideology eventually. And that's why I limit myself into that. For example, today when I wrote my new video idea, I did not go into Reddit with that one. I just came out with it. So, understand that the environment you're in will make you into the person you will be if you spend too much time in there. So, for the black pillars watching, for the boys trying to get rid of the black pill, you know what you spend your time on. You know the environment you're in. You know the friends you talk to. Obviously, it hasn't turned out too well. So change it. And yeah, that's the simple answer. Just change your environment. Now, I said it was simple, not easy. It's not easy changing the environment because you've grown into the environment. And adapting to a new environment is kind of difficult when you've been rotting in another one for time. And one crucial thing with me was I thought that the environment I spent my time on wouldn't change me because I was really mentally capable. That's not true. That's not true. I had to let go of that egotistical thinking like the environment I spend my time on, I will adapt, whether I think I will or not. And yeah, that's what it says right here. The simple but not easy answer is to separate yourself from the environment that makes you have black pill thoughts. And it feels comfortable because you've been living in it for a time. But the goal is not to be comfortable, the goal is to be free, at peace. Peace does not come with comfortability. And so you have to leave the environment. I do talk more in depth about leaving the environment on the course, link in the description. But essentially, be in an environment that brings you peace eventually. It won't do it instantly. Don't think you're above it. Don't think that you're above the environment you're in, because whether you like it or not, you will adapt into it. Lose the ego, leave the environment, take as much time as you need to find a new one, and then when you have, then you adapt into the new environment and you eventually become the person you wanted to be, and you found peace outside of the black pill. And it won't be easy. I'm still trying to do what I've said for you to do. But the environment I'm in now is substantially better than the one I was in before. So, but yeah, that's really it. The company you keep. What's the title? The company I kept made it difficult to not get their characteristics.